How many of you buy your groceries on Amazon? How many people buy books from Amazon? How many people buy everything you can think of from Amazon, including a home? Do you know somebody recently bought a home on Amazon for $30,000? Yep, it's possible. They have gotten into the housing market and every other market you can think of, and you can actually buy a home for $30,000. It's pretty amazing. And these homes have been available for a long time. It's not something new, it's just something that Amazon has suddenly gotten into. But you have the option of buying your home. Someone did it, and I'm going to give you 10 steps for single parents on how to look for and buy affordable housing, because I've been talking about affordable housing in my book, 10 Things I Wish I Knew as a Single Parent, for a long time. And when I go around and I speak, I talk to you about this as well. So I'm going to give you 10 steps for single parents to buy affordable housing. Obviously, go to Amazon if you need to, but this housing has been around for a long time and these prices. So the number one thing we're going to get into, it's called 10 steps for single parents to buy affordable housing. Who am I? Sonia Gallen Kamanika, SoniaGallenKamanika.com, and the author of 10 Things I Wish I Knew as a Single Parent, where we talk about all things single parents. So number one, research housing in your local market first, because there is probably something available right where you are in your local market. But you got to do the research on it. It doesn't just pop up for you. And part of that research might be going down to the town to see who might be in foreclosure, who might be behind on their property. It might be a home where there's a widow. It might be a home where someone's passed away and now it's part of an estate. You might have to go to probate court. There's a lot of ways. So there is something in your local market. You're just going to have to do a little bit of work and you're going to have to find it. It could be a property that has been neglected and just needs some repair. So that's an option as well. Number two, decide if you're willing to pay market rates, because that determines everything. If you're willing to pay market rates, I guess it doesn't really matter. You just got to make sure you can afford the down payment or pay for the full home. That's an option. But if you're not, then you've got to look into other options. Like I said, go and research the towns and find out what is available, what's in foreclosure, what is about to go to auction, that sort of thing, who needs to pay their taxes. So there's a lot of options out there. Got to do your research. Number three, search for pre-owned mobile or manufactured homes. Those are probably a lot of the things you're going to find on Amazon for $30,000 or less. There are homes for $1,000. There are homes for $10,000. There are homes for $5,000. There's homes for $100,000. But these homes are well designed. They're under HUD has a lot of guidelines for how they're to be built and created. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. Don't think because it's $30,000 that it's worse than $100,000 homes. It's not. These are very well made. Number four, search for auction properties. Yes, you're going to have to go and check out a tax sale. You're going to have to go to the town and find out what's available. There is stuff. Some things will be in the paper. Some things will be online. Some things will be in the news. There's a lot of different ways, but you're going to have to do some research and find out. But there is always something available. Even in the most expensive neighborhoods, there's something available. You can find a beautiful home that needs a lot of work and get it back on market, get it up to par, and you'll have something amazing. Like I've just recently read Michael Jordan's mansion has been for sale. It was not selling for 11 years now. So there's always something out there that's available and that you can probably get at a really great price. Also, number five, check the property values in your community. Because if it looks like they're going up, that's always a good thing. I mean, there's some areas, no matter what happens, I've been to areas like in Flint, Michigan, where even the supermarkets have moved out of the town, where there's no business, there's no banks, there's no industry. So those areas you got to be really concerned about, because if there's no like supermarkets and banks in there, it's probably not a safe spot to be in. It isn't expensive, but it's probably not a safe spot, or there's some other issue going on within the town. So be careful, search it out, and then and obviously do your research. Number six, search Amazon for great deals. Obviously they've got them. So anything from your groceries to your books to your pants to whatever, and they've got housing as well. So search. Amazon has gotten into the housing market and they've got a lot of really great stuff going on right now. So make sure you're looking into that as an option. Number seven, speak with sellers and negotiate. You don't just take the first offer. Somebody offers you one thing, you're like, okay, I'll take it. No, you negotiate and you sit and talk and you decide what is a win-win for everybody involved, because sometimes they don't even know why they're asking that price. Somebody told them to ask that price and they're doing it, or they're just doing it randomly based on whatever they paid. But that's not what the home is worth or what the market is saying it's worth. So negotiate, have a conversation, Do your own research and before you make a decision. Number 8, rent a house and rent out all the rooms individually. We actually have somebody we work with, one of our colleagues. He is like 20 something, and he actually rented a house and literally rents out every room. And then he duplicated that, did it a second time, and he does not pay for anything. So I think it's like 4 or 5 bedroom house. He just rents them, and then he rents out every individual room. I think it's all men. There might be a woman in one of them, and they essentially pay for it. You have nothing to pay for. So that could be a really, really good option as well. For single parents, you got to be careful with this whole renting out things, renting out rooms, but you can definitely rent to maybe a traveling nurse, a traveling executive, things like that. Maybe you can have a separate, if you've got a home, and then on the property, maybe you can put a mobile or something, and then rent out something separate from your main house where people are not living in the home with you and your children. But renting out a house and then renting out all the other rooms individually is always a great thing. Number 9, buy a property that needs repairs, fix it up, and move out after 2 years. 2 years is a big deal because anything after 2 years, you are allowed to keep all of the profits, whether you sell it or you rent it. So buy a property that needs repairs, fix it up, move out after 2 years. Stay there if you want to, but just know that any rent you collect after you move out, you sell it, then that belongs to you after you've lived there for 2 years. It's a pretty good deal. Number 10, buy a property, live in it for at least 2 years, rent it out for profit. So you can live there, can do a live and flip, fix it up, whatever. I mean, the only challenge is that you're moving your children around a lot from schools. So as you do a live and flip, if you're able to live in a neighborhood, stay there, and your kids can be in the same school system, that's always a good thing. But live there, fix it up, move out, and move on, do it again. That is one option. Or continue to stay there, or maybe rent out one portion, stay in the other portion. It really is going to depend on the ages of your children, what's happening, the lifestyle you have, who's home. I mean, can your spouse also move around? Do you have a spouse? If you're a single parent, probably you don't have a spouse. It really is going to depend on the situation, but these are just options, things to think about. Obviously, the $30,000 with Amazon is fantastic for single parents. Finding something that is inexpensive that you can pay off pretty quickly, and then maybe your kids can have stability with school. That's always a great thing. So think of these tips. Sonia Gallion-Cominica, SoniaGallionCominica.com, and the author of 10 Things I Wish I Knew as a Single Parent, where we talk about all things single parents.